Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third session under the title Economic Diversification and Determinants, Human Development, Finance and Energy Transformation. Please welcome Khalid Hanafi, the chair of the session, Secretary General of the Union of Arab Chambers and board member at ASFER. Islam Abdelbari, Associate Professor of Economics, Vice Dean for Graduate Studies and Scientific Research, Arab Academy for Science, Technology and Maritime Transport. Mr. Walid Abdel Moula, Deputy Director at the API. Madam Hala Abu Ali, Professor of Economics and Chairperson of the Department of Economics, FEPS at the Cairo University. Mr. Belqasem Al-Abbas, Senior Advisor at the Arab Planning Institute and board member at ASFER. Let's start this session with the paper presentation authored by Islam Abdelbari, Associate Professor of Economics, Vice Dean for Graduate Studies and Scientific Research at the Arab Academy for Science, Technology and Maritime Transport. And we think that the paper presented by Islam Abdelbari is of excellent nature, and it addresses financial development, economic diversity, and it focuses on the GCC countries. It uses a certain number of linear and non-linear models. Professor Islam, you know the commitments that we have made time-wise. Good evening. I thank you. I would like to thank the Arab Society, and I've been working in the society for a long time, and I was honored to author my first paper outside Egypt in the 4th or 5th conference of the society in Beirut in 2005 with Dr. Khalid. This led to the securing of a master's degree, so I hope this work will go on. I thank Dr. Ashraf, Dr. Mahmoud, and I'm very happy to be with you today. This paper addresses financial development and economic diversification, especially in GCC countries, using linear and nonlinear models. So we'll start with an introduction, a literature review, methodology, and references. GCC countries are economies that heavily rely on oil exports, and sometimes this represents more than 70% of GDP. So those economies are facing external shocks, and especially shocks from volatility on oil markets and volatility stemming from geostrategic shocks and conflicts, but also from climate change. And this has an impact on Gulf economies, but also on other economies that invest in those countries, but also in terms of the labor that work in GCC countries in times of prosperity. What I mean by financial development is the strengthening of institutions and markets and financial infrastructure in those countries, and especially skill building in those sectors. And this has a strong impact on innovation, in creativity, entrepreneurship, and also small and large projects. In terms of context in the Gulf region, there is a strong importance of diversification for several reasons, because those countries are heavily reliant on oil and they are prone to external shocks. So those countries are striving to diversify their economies, and financial development is one of the tools at their disposal. And I'm thinking of external investments, but also diversification and financial development helps those countries finance their development projects. So this research strives to evaluate and assess the link between financial development and economic diversification through a model in order to establish whether there's a linear or nonlinear relation, or a direct relation, or a step-by-step relation. And we'll evaluate which model is best to use in this case. So we'll adopt a certain number of economic theories, the internal growth model, or the financial and development model, but also threshold theory. Studies have established a direct relation between financial development and economic growth, and a relation between those factors and innovation. And studies have been conducted in that regard and have established this linkage in countries such as Brazil and Nigeria. In the same context, Gulf countries have a strong need in financial development, but there is a difference in the development structure of those 6 countries, those 6 GCC countries. Some of them are advanced in terms of financial development, and others have started to take steps in that direction. The model uses a time period from 2000 to 2022. It assesses 6 countries, and it's based on several data related to financial development. So data from Ben Rashid Development University. So the main variable is the financial development, but other variables which have an impact on assessment, whether it be development or trade or direct investments or public spending or even oil import or revenue.
The relationship was static in the sense that it used traditional models, and that is the memorandum, the dynamic generalized method, and we moved to the dynamic models so that we can include dynamism in that, and then afterwards we try to move on to the nonlinear analysis. In general, the economic diversification of the GCC countries shows that some countries such as Emirates, Bahrain, and Qatar have a great diversity. In Saudi Arabia, currently it is one of the countries that is achieving significant progress as far as economic development is concerned. And after that comes Kuwait and Oman. As far as financial diversification is concerned, it's the same countries that have a good economic diversity, have a good financial diversity, and this is quite clear from we have managed to see that there is a relationship between the two, and therefore we moved on to the economic diversification index. There is a relationship between financial developments and economic diversification, And this confirms the hypothesis on which we based our studies, meaning that the oil rents shows a strong negative relationship with diversification, reinforcing the resource curse hypothesis, and meaning that there is a strong link between the oil exports earnings and diversification. Government spending has also a significant positive effect on diversification. The following analysis was the dynamic analysis, the generalized method of moments, and we added to it a model that is based on different variables that takes into consideration the economic developments with financial developments and government spending. As this answers the first and second objective, and therefore to answer the question whether it is a positive relationship. As far as the nonlinear relationship analysis, we have reached the conclusion that it is nonlinear indeed, and that according to the score that is achieved, we have the two levels. We have low and high FD, and in the low, which is lower than medium, there is no impact. In the higher level, there is an impact, which means when the financial institutions have achieved a level of maturity, the impact is clear. That is, the financial development has an impact on the economic development. And so instead of being two-level or two-tertile, we have three levels. We have the low tertile, the middle tertile, and the high tertile, and that is the high tertile is the countries with the highest financial development scores. And this confirms the result that we obtained at the beginning, which means that those who are in the low tertile, the financial development does not have an impact on economic diversification. The middle tertile, that includes also Saudi Arabia, we can see that there is a clear and a very strong, very significant relationship between the two. And there are here some countries that are in the same level as Saudi Arabia. And we have also the countries that have high financial development scores. And they have, of course, this has an impact, but it is lower than in the middle tertile. And therefore, this is not the main factor that contributes to economic diversification. You would need a number of economic and monetary or financial reforms in order to achieve that diversification. And that is the kind of level of production that we need to achieve in order to have that diversification. 1 minute, please. So the three models, the static, linear, and non-linear, shows that there is a relationship between economic development and diversification. And there is a negative or positive impact depending on the conditions. And of course, the government spending has a major impact on diversification. The level of financial maturity is also important. And when we are in the middle or the middle level, we have to make sure that the financial institutions benefit from this diversification. And the third The third level is in which there is a complementarity with some structural reforms, with infrastructure, with governance, so that we can achieve the objective that we want, which is economic diversification. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Islam. This is a very good paper, very good analysis, and he has shown us that economic, financial development is a prerequisite.
Very much, everyone, and we announce the end of this session, this very rich session, and thank you very much.